Okay, here we are. Another day, another episode. There are three things happening today. Number one, I've run out of outfits, clearly, because you've seen this one before. So I guess my career as a fashionista is officially over. I'm devastated. Number two, as you can probably hear, I'm ill again. I say again, I've been ill for like 7 weeks straight, but it's kind of gotten worse and it's came back again. Which is kind of ironic considering yesterday I was saying, I don't really get any health side effects. But to be honest, I don't think it's related to that. It's more just, it's more just being back in London at this time of the year, and it's fucking me up because basically, in a span of an hour, I go from a warm house to cold outside to warm and overly fucking breathed out a train. Then you go outside again, then to another warm breathed out train, then outside again, and then to a warm breathed out gym. And that's within an hour. And then the same thing again on the way back, and just this constant change in temperature is just fucking me up. I'm not used to it anymore because I was away for years, right? So hopefully, once spring starts and the weather starts getting a bit warmer, so the disparity between the train or the inside and outside becomes a bit more similar, or disparity will be smaller rather, then I'll be able to function again properly. It mostly came because I would have been fine, but there was a stressful period of my life, let's call it, that weakened my immune system. That's how I got ill in the first place, because I wasn't sleeping either. And here we are. So 7 weeks later, which is bullshit. Anyway, that's my problem. Number three, today is officially the very last day of this entire off-season. Obviously, I already talked about how the whole thing went down and everything, so I'm not gonna prattle about that too much. What I will do though is I'll add here now somewhere a footage of my last check-in from this Thursday, so 2 days ago, where you'll see what I look like under all of this. And I will also put pictures of before and after, so what I looked like before the off-season started and versus what I look like now, so 2.5 years of difference. So should be hopefully noticeable, otherwise I'm doing all of this shit for nothing. And it is noticeable, but yeah. Anyway, it's just my body dysmorphia talking. Bad. No. So that's that. Agenda for today. I will finish this little prattle. I will get things ready, as usual. Just like last time, I will record stuff, but I will not be speaking. One, it's faster and it saves me a lot of time. But more importantly, it's a Saturday, and Saturdays get really fucking busy in the gym. So there's not really enough space for me to be doing all that kind of filming and most importantly, talk, because there's going to be a lot of disruptions. So yeah, I'll do the training, then I'll come back and then I'll talk a bit more about the off season, but more again, I've covered it already. So I'll just go through what's kind of happening now, what the changes are, which there are many to be honest, but what we've changed going into this cruise, for what's going to happen for the next few weeks and when the prep starts and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'll cover today. Again, I'll just sit down and I'll talk about it. Not as extensively as last time, but yeah, that's it. I will see you later. right, here we are again. So I'm back from the gym, obviously, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't that great because yeah, the illness is definitely affected me. I even considered just going home, but I was like, you know what? It's the last one of the entire off season. Just go balls out, and then deal with the consequences later. So I imagine the next few days I'm gonna have to spend in bed, but. Yeah, great start to the cruise, but then again, it is about giving my body a break. So, yeah. Anyway, so here's the plan. Now that it's finished, we're going into a cruise, which there's like 6 weeks of basically giving body a bit of a break in terms of like just focusing on recovery. The gear is gonna be low. There aren't really any other changes so far. Like my food is still the same, my training's the same, everything's the same. It's just the gear, because yeah, like I said, I do need a bit of a break mentally as well. And clearly my body could use a bit of a break from it as well, even though again, I don't think it's related, but it might be. There's always the possibility. So I'm gonna have to focus on recovery as much as possible in the next 6 weeks. Just making sure I get my sleep, that kind of stuff. Which is always difficult with running a business and stuff. Getting enough sleep is challenge to say the least. But I'll do what I can, and then yeah, the main thing, like on my part, the main thing I need a break is from all the pinning as well, because yeah, my quads and my shoulders are getting really sore from it at this point. So having to do it just twice a week instead of every day is going to be a godsend, so to speak. Clearing out the system before once the prep starts, shit, gets escalated. So even though, say, during the push phase, during the blast, the gear is much higher in terms of total amount. There's only like 3 compounds that I was on total, whilst now we start with 4 and we end on like 8 or 9. 8 for sure, maybe even 9th one. So there's a huge mix of stuff put into it, which puts a lot of pressure on the body. That's why prep is no joke. Like 5 of them are orals, so I just take the pill, so that's fine. I mean, it fucks up your liver, but in terms of the pain in the ass stuff, literally, it's fine. And yeah, so that's like the only thing to be mindful of. Again, I'm gonna have to recover as much as possible and see what it does. And that's it, really. Like we start, what's now? No, today is 29th of March. So end of March, we're gonna 6 weeks, so like mid-May, something like that. We start with the prep, and that gives me about, 14, 16 weeks, something like that, before we start competing. We haven't picked the shows yet or anything. We don't know. We just know it's the September, October season. I don't know where I'm gonna go, which dates they are, and so on. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's just going to be quite interesting because I'm going to have to travel a couple of times during this prep, which I've never had to do before. One, my childhood best friend is getting married, and I'm his best man, so I need to go to Czech in end of June. I'm going to have to go in and be there for a few days while on prep. And then a few weeks later, I'm going to have to go back also to check, because my parents are going on a holiday and someone needs to watch Max, okay, my cat. So, whom I left with them. So, yeah, I'm going to have to fly in and take care of him for like a week, 10 days, something like that. That's fine. There's like normal, that's home environment, and they're not going to be there, so I can control what I eat, but still, it's home, your mother's there, she's going to want to cook for me and all that shit, so I'm going to have to be like, no, I'm on fucking prep, I can't have any of this. The main thing I'm worried about is the travel, because obviously when you're on the flight, there's like 4 days between them where I'm going to be, 4 days fucked of like flying and stuff, and the food always gets messed up on those days, so hopefully it doesn't cost me too much. As in, like, in terms of progress.
But yeah, that's it. That's the plan. That's how the situation is. That's what's happening in the next few weeks. Obviously, I'm going to keep you updated as we go. But yeah, such is the plan. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, comments, that kind of stuff, do let me know. Otherwise, have yourself a great day. Like, subscribe, or all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next time.